plasma bolt hit him square in the chest. For a heartbeat, the battlefield fell silent. Sergeant Elias Ward staggered backward, armor smoking where the alien blast punched through the plating. The impact should have thrown him to the ground. It should have stopped his breathing. Instead, he laughed, a low, breathy chuckle at first, then a ragged, unhinged roar of laughter that echoed through the metallic corridors of the alien frigate. The alien soldiers, tall figures with crystal-veined skin and black reflective eyes, froze. Their weapons remained trained on him, hands trembling. "Why, is he laughing?" whispered one in their hissing dialect. "He leaks fluid," another said, pointing to the thin red line trailing down Elias's ribs. "Damaged and laughing?" Elias doubled over, one hand bracing against the wall, shoulders shaking with mirth. "You," he gasped between laughs, "you missed anything vital. Try again." His voice, hoarse but steady, reverberated in the humid air of the ship. He straightened slowly. His eyes, bright, determined, defiant, locked on the alien commander. Commander Sorev stepped forward, mandibles tightening against his jaw. Taller than the others, armored in plates that shimmered like obsidian, he radiated authority. And unease. "Human," Sorev spat. "Why do you expel fluid and respond with—" He searched for the right word. "Amusement?" Elias wiped the blood from his chin with the back of his hand. "It's not amusement," he said, voice calm. "It's defiance." Sorev's pupils constricted. "Defiance is irrational when death is imminent." "That's what you don't get," Elias murmured. "Humans don't laugh because we're fearless. We laugh because we know fear, and choose to walk anyway." Behind him, the surviving members of his squad pressed themselves against the wall, unarmed, exhausted, breathing heavily. Among them, Private Leon Hayes clutched her cracked visor, trying not to panic. "Ward," she whispered. "You've been shot. Sit down before you—" "I said I'm fine." Elias didn't look at her. His eyes stayed on the aliens. The deck hummed beneath them, the vibration of a ship primed for interstellar jump. Somewhere deep in the machinery, cooling fans whirred like distant insects. The air tasted metallic, like hot circuitry and the sharp sting of ozone. Sorev paced slowly, studying the human like a specimen in a lab. "Our intelligence report said humans experience emotional instability under duress. But this," he gestured toward Elias, "is aberrant." Leon swallowed. "Sir," she muttered under her breath, "maybe don't provoke the giant crystal lizard with the plasma cannon." "I'm testing a theory," Elias said softly. Sorev halted, a predator sensing a trap. "What theory?" "That fear isn't universal," Elias replied. "It's learned, cultural, psychological." A small grin curved his lips. "Yours tells you to freeze. Ours tells us to fight." A ripple of unease passed through the alien soldiers. Their taloned fingers tightened on their rifles. Sorev bared his fangs. "Shoot him again." "Wait," Leon yelled. Elias didn't move. Another blast tore through the air, white-hot and screaming. This one hit lower, grazing his abdomen. Pain exploded through his torso, sharp enough to blur the edges of his vision. His knees buckled. He gasped. And then, he laughed harder. "Listen to him," one alien whispered, voice trembling. "He bleeds, yet escalates." "What are they?" Elias looked up through the haze of pain and locked eyes with Sorev. "We're human. We break, we bleed, but we don't stop." The commander's composure cracked. "Restrain him. I want him alive." 3 aliens approached, binding Elias's arms behind his back. He didn't resist. He let them move him, slowly, carefully, to keep his breath steady. Leon lunged forward, only to be shoved back into the wall. "Let him go." Elias met her eyes, steady, reassuring. "Leon, stay calm. They need us alive." "No," she whispered, voice cracking. "They need you." Sorev stepped close enough that Elias could see his reflection in the alien's polished armor. "You will tell me why you laugh. What trick allows it? What chemical? What augmentation?" Elias leaned forward until their faces were a breath apart. "No trick," he whispered. "Just humanity." Sorev stared, rattled, for the first time since boarding the ship. Unsure. As the restraints locked into place, Elias smiled. Not deranged now, but controlled. Calculated. Because this wasn't surrender, it was the beginning. The interrogation chamber pulsed with cold, blue light. Elias Ward sat rigid in a metallic chair bolted to the floor, wrists magnetically locked behind him. The room smelled of chemical antiseptic, sharp, sterile, predatory. Thin vapor curled from vents in the ceiling, numbing the air. Every sound echoed, a drip of condensation, the hum of energy restraints. His ragged breathing. Across from him stood Commander Sorev, flanked by two alien technicians whose faceted eyes glimmered with scientific fascination rather than military discipline. "Begin," Sorev ordered. A technician activated a hovering console. Strange holographic glyphs flickered. Diagnostics, biological readings, projections. Elias felt a current sweep across his skin like a static shock, mapping every bone, organ, heartbeat. His pulse flashed bright red on the display. "His cardiovascular activity is abnormal," murmured one technician. "Fluctuations resembling adrenaline surge." "Humans do not control adrenaline release," the other responded, puzzled. Elias smirked. "We don't control it. We ride it," Sorev ignored the comment. "Human, explain your reaction during battle. Why do you laugh? Why do you not collapse when injured?" Elias rolled his shoulders, testing the locks. "No give, because pain reminds us we're alive," Sorev hissed, a sign of irritation. "You equate injury with strength." "No," Elias said quietly. "We equate survival with strength." A door hissed open. Leon Hayes was dragged inside, bound, bruised, but alive. Her helmet was gone, revealing sharp, dark eyes filled with fury and fear. "Ward!" she gasped. Elias straightened. "You okay?" "Define okay," she muttered. "They poked my armor with a laser scalpel." "For baseline measurements," they said. Sorev motioned her to a separate platform. Restraints locked around her ankles and wrists. Her jaw clenched, composed, but Elias saw the tremor in her fingers. "You will observe," Sorev said to Elias, tone glacial. "Perhaps seeing another human react differently will encourage your cooperation." Elias's voice dropped to a lethal calm. "Don't touch her," Sorev tilted his head. "Your protectiveness is noted. Is this emotional attachment the source of your defiance?" "Try me," Elias muttered. One technician extended an articulated probe toward Leon's temple, a needle-like device humming with energy. "Stop." Elias strained against the restraints. Metal cut into his wrists. "You wanted answers. Interrogate me. Leave her out of it." Sorev considered him, mandibles flexing. "You misunderstood," Sorev said. "This is the interrogation." Leon's eyes met Elias's, steady, brave, terrified. "Don't do anything stupid," she whispered. He smiled, faint and reckless. Too late. Leon startled as the probe grazed her skin, cold, electric. She winced, breath shuddering. "Her vitals accelerate," a technician noted. "Typical fear response." Sorev turned to Elias. "When you were shot, your vitals surged in the opposite direction. Not fear, exuberance." His voice took on a chilling curiosity. "Explain." Elias inhaled, slow and deliberate. His mind raced not toward surrender, but strategy. "You study us like we're machines," he said. "But humans don't operate purely on logic. We feel everything, fear, pain, guilt, anger, and instead of shutting down, we weaponize it." Sorev narrowed his eyes. "Emotion is weakness." "No." Elias leaned forward despite the restraints digging into his shoulders. "Emotion is fuel." Silence stretched. Then Elias continued, voice low, intimate, controlled. "When you shot me, my body flooded with adrenaline, fear, pain, instinct, and instead of freezing, instead of shutting down, humans evolved to act. To fight, to overcome." He held Sorev's gaze like a challenge. "Your species suppresses fear. Ours harnesses it." Sorev appeared rattled, but only for a breath. Then his demeanor hardened. "Prove it." He signaled the technicians. A plasma torch ignited near Elias's wounded side. The heat singed the air, casting violent orange light across his face. Leon screamed. "Stop, he's already bleeding." Elias felt the heat, searing, invasive, but he didn't look away from Sorev. "You think pain breaks us?" Elias asked. Sweat trickled down his spine. His muscles trembled. The scent of scorched fabric filled the room, then he laughed. "Not manic this time. Quiet. Controlled. A sound that didn't belong in a torture chamber." The torch faltered, even the technicians hesitated. Sorev stared like he was witnessing a taboo. Elias spoke through clenched teeth. "This is why you'll never win." Sorev leaned close. Why? Because you fear losing control, Elias whispered. Humans fear nothing more than not fighting back. The commander froze, and for the first time Elias saw doubt in those obsidian eyes. Sorev left the interrogation chamber without speaking. The blast doors sealed behind him, leaving only the quiet hum of containment energy and the metallic clatter of Leon's struggling restraints. Elias watched the commander's silhouette disappear down the corridor, rigid, shaken, calculating. The door's final hiss echoed like a challenge. Elias, Leon whispered, still strapped to the examination platform. We're running out of time. He tugged discreetly at the magnetic cuffs holding him in the chair. Pain traced lines through his abdomen, radiating outward. His armor had been stripped away, leaving a thin undersuit soaked with dried blood. His breathing was shallow but steady. We don't need time, Elias murmured. We need opportunity, Leon snorted weakly. Opportunity? On an alien warship? He smiled just enough to reassure her. We've escaped worse. The lights overhead flickered once, then twice, as if responding to a silent command. The technicians rechecked their instruments, tapping displays with strange six-jointed fingers. One leaned close to Elias, scanning the wounded section of his torso. How are you conscious? This level of plasma trauma results in 72% mortality among mammalian species. Elias met the alien's crystalline eyes. Maybe we're just built different. The alien recoiled slightly, uncomfortable with the answer. Leon spoke up, voice sharper. You don't understand humans. You think we're unstable because we laugh, scream, and bleed, but we're unpredictable because we adapt. The second technician looked between them, hesitant. Commander Sorev believes fear is a defect. You claim fear is a tool. It is, Elias said. The first technician hesitated again. What is the sensation of fear like? Elias blinked. You don't feel it? We suppress all destabilizing emotions through neural filtration, fear, rage, sorrow. These are inefficiencies. Elias let silence stretch. Fear tells us what matters, he finally said. Without it, you're just reacting. We're deciding. The technicians recorded the statement, fascinated. Leon watched Elias's eyes, searching his expression. Under the pain and bravado, something sharper glinted. Calculation, timing. Ward, she whispered. You're planning something. He didn't deny it. The humming in the walls deepened, a low vibration that made the chair tremble. A distant alarm pulsed somewhere in the ship, subtle like a heartbeat. Elias tilted his head. What's that? The first technician froze. Hyperdrive pre-jump energy buildup. The commander intends to bring you to the capital. To dissect, Leon muttered. To understand, the technician corrected. To break, Elias said. The aliens flinched at the word. At that moment, the humming intensified again. The ceiling lights flickered. The instruments on the holographic console spiked, lines of alien script flashing red. A mechanical voice echoed through the chamber. Alert, system integrity breach. The technicians stiffened. Unspecified malfunction in power routing. Elias smiled inwardly. He'd felt it earlier. The vibration in the restraints wasn't random. The plasma torch Sorev had used had overloaded a junction panel, scorching through insulation. Every time the technicians upped the restraint energy, the fluctuation worsened. Now the ship was compensating, rerouting power. Exactly what Elias needed. He leaned forward, voice low and dangerous. Hey, your restraint field, what's it tied into? Main power grid, the technician said automatically. Why? The lights surged. Boom, the entire chamber shook. The restraints flickered. Elias felt the magnetics weaken just a fraction, but enough. He wrenched his arms forward. The cuffs sparked. Metal screamed. The restraint snapped. Both technicians stumbled back, horrified. How? That's impossible! Elias rose slowly, every inch of movement deliberate, predatory. Blood streaked his side. His eyes burned with adrenaline and purpose. You wanted to study human fear? He growled. Let me demonstrate something else. He lunged, not graceful, not elegant, violent. He slammed the nearest technician into the console. Energy field shorted. Sparks burst across the room like shattered stars. The second technician reached for an alarm, but Leon, despite the restraints, hooked her legs around the stand and kicked him hard in the chest. Ward, she shouted. Get me loose! He grabbed the technician's access band, slammed it against her restraints. The magnetic locks disengaged with a sharp click. She fell forward into his arms, shaky but alive. "You okay to move?" he asked. She swallowed. "We escape now or die." "I choose escape," alarms blared louder. The ship shifted beneath them, slightly off balance like turbulence in deep space. Elias snatched a fallen plasma rifle, checking the charge. Not much ammo. Didn't matter. He turned to Leon, voice calm and sure. "We're done being test subjects." The chamber doors hissed, beginning to open, armed soldiers on the other side. Shadows forming. Elias lifted the rifle. Leon braced at his side. The door finished opening, and Elias grinned like someone who had already chosen freedom or death. Round 2. The corridor exploded into chaos. Elias fired first, short, controlled bursts. The plasma rifle kicked hard against his bruised shoulder, but every shot mattered. Aliens dove behind crystalline bulkheads, hissing commands. Sparks rained from ruptured conduits overhead, bathing everything in fractured blue light. Leon slid beside him, ripping a sidearm from a fallen guard. "3 incoming left." "I see them." Elias pivoted, squeezing off a burst. The recoil tore open the wound across his abdomen. He staggered. His vision blurred white, then he laughed, sharp, uncontrollable. It wasn't hysteria. It was ignition. The aliens hesitated again. They always did, because laughter after pain was unnatural to them. One soldier, young, terrified, stumbled backward, dropping his weapon. "He is injured, Commander." "The leaking worsens." From behind the troops, Sorev appeared. His posture was rigid, strained. No longer confident, cornered. His obsidian armor reflected the flickering emergency lights like broken glass. "This ends here, human." "No," Elias said, plasma rifle steady. "It ends where it started, when you assumed we'd break," Sorev hissed. "You are reckless, illogical, driven by instinct instead of calculation." "You mistake instinct for chaos," Elias shot back. "It's evolution." The ship lurched violently, hyperdrive charge destabilizing. The announcement echoed in multiple alien dialects. Elias grinned. "Looks like your ship disagrees with you." The corridor lights flickered out. Emergency lighting flared red. Suddenly, the hallway was a maze of pulsing crimson shadows. Leon bumped his shoulder. "Ward, if we don't get to a shuttle bay, we're atomized." "On it." Elias swept an alien off his feet, slammed the butt of the rifle into his throat, and sprinted down the corridor. Leon followed, ducking under incoming fire. They turned a corner and skidded to a halt. A transparent observation window stretched across the entire wall. Beyond it, hyperspace energy coiled like a storm of living lightning. The ship trembled under the strain. Leon stared in horror. They started the jump sequence without stabilizing the core. Elias exhaled. "They're panicking." And panic, he knew, made enemies stupid. Sorev's voice boomed from the overhead speakers. "You will not leave this ship. We will learn what twisted mutation allows the human mind to embrace pain." Elias pressed his forehead against the cool window. Below, docking clamps held a small shuttle. "Unguarded, perfect, you hear that?" Elias murmured. "He thinks this is mutation." "It's not?" Leanne asked carefully. He turned toward her. Tired, bleeding, smiling like a man with nothing left to fear. "It's not mutation," he said. "It's history." She blinked. "What?" "We come from a planet where almost every creature is built to kill something else. We evolved by surviving predators, disease, war, disasters. Humanity isn't strong because of our bodies." His gaze hardened. "We're strong because of what we've endured." Down the hall, Sorev emerged again. This time alone, he was no longer composed. His armor pulsed erratically, responding to spikes in his stressed biometrics. "You confuse suffering with strength," Sorev growled. "No," Elias said. "We recognize that surviving suffering creates strength." Sorev moved faster than expected, slashing his energy blade forward. Elias barely blocked it with the rifle. The impact shattered the weapon's barrel. Elias stumbled back. Sorev pressed closer. "We do not need to feel pain to conquer." Elias, panting, bleeding, whispered, "Then why are you shaking?" Sorev froze. His hands trembled, just a fraction. His pupils dilated. For the first time, emotion slipped past his neural filtration. Fear. "You feel it," Elias said softly. "You suppress it, but it's there." Sorev snarled, blade raised. Leon yelled. "Move!" Elias dropped, sweeping Sorev's legs out. They crashed to the metal floor. Sorev's blade skittered away. Elias grabbed him by the armor collar and hauled him close. You wanted to know why I laughed? Elias murmured. Sorev's voice cracked. Yes. Because laughter means I'm still fighting. Elias slammed Sorev's head against the floor, once, twice. The commander went limp. Leon grabbed Elias's arm. Core breach in 60 seconds. They sprinted toward the shuttle access ladder. Elias's vision swam. He tasted blood. His body screamed to collapse, but the adrenaline roared louder. Keep moving. They reached the shuttle. Elias fell into the pilot seat, hands flying across alien controls. Leon strapped herself in. Think you can fly this? No idea, he admitted. But I can crash it in the right direction. The shuttle ejected just as the alien frigate ruptured behind them in a bloom of electric blue. The shockwave flung the shuttle forward. Elias braced for annihilation. Instead, stars snapped into stillness. Silence. Leon let out a ragged laugh. We made it! Elias leaned back, finally letting exhaustion hit. Blood dripped into his collar. You still leaking? She murmured, voice soft. Elias chuckled. Let them panic. Leon looked at him, really looked, and whispered, What are humans, Ward? He closed his eyes. Unbreakable.